What's up? What's up, y'all? Let me make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Ski. Let's get to it, y'all. We in there. We in there. Let's make sure everything is what it is. I think we got action. All right. So I'm not gonna wait long. That's kind of my thing. I don't like waiting for people. So I like to get right to it. Now, I did one of these videos about 2 weeks ago, right? But I felt like the board was too small. So I got this set up. This is just a test run. I do not have my great microphone, but I do have these beats in because they were around. And I was like, look, it's only one way to see how this will look, and that's to get in here and make another video. Now, this is how I want to start doing these videos because when I sit and talk, people tend to not quite grasp some of the concepts that I put together. And I'm a visual person myself. So I will be doing these as well as some of these podcast videos. Somebody asked me to do more of these. So I, I'm just telling y'all, I had to get a bigger board. I don't know. It's something blinking. I guess the internet here must not be in its best position. It looked like one of the Facebook pages failed. I do not care, y'all. I really just want to get this content up. I want to see how it look. Maybe tomorrow I'll do another live with the professional microphones that we classed on. But these headphones should probably work for now. But I want to I want to talk about success and failure, right? This is a pretty simple concept that's tied to being open minded and being closed minded. Now, what happens is a lot of this, right? So sometimes people feel like they have to acquire a lot of knowledge, right? So we're going to use K for knowledge. It's a brand new board. We're going to rock it. So now you take a lot of time learning. You read books, a lot of this type of stuff. And I got into the rhythm of doing this myself. And what happens is you forget one key part of knowledge, and that's implementation. You can read a million books. You could spend all the money in the world on courses, right? So let's say what knowledge is, right? So you have courses, you have books, you can pay mentors. Actually, mentors are free, but we'll put it there anyway. Coaches, consultants. You can watch content. You can do all of this and more, right? The plus sign mean more. You can do all of this stuff and more. That's how you get the knowledge, right? Implementation, one word, taking action. That's implementation. So at the beginning of the year, I talked about this. I said 2025 is the year of implementation, right? And the reason that I called it the year of implementation is because a lot of people feel like the more knowledge they have, the more success is supposed to come to them. But you can have all of this and you can spend millions of dollars buying courses, buying books, paying mentors. You can digest all of the content available to you. But if you don't take action, none of this matters. So what happens is a lot of people who own businesses feel like they can do a bunch of this and none of this, and they can get on social media. That could be YouTube, Facebook, any of that. So we got social here, right? So people feel like they can get on social media and just regurgitate everything that they got from here. So when they get on there, they're going to tell you a whole bunch of plans that you can implement. They're going to tell you different ways so you can get uh, all of this different stuff. They're going to tell you, look, all you have to do is this. They're going to have all kind of outlines for you, PDFs for you to download, a bunch of stuff they got for free all across the internet. They're going to sell you ebooks. Most of this stuff they didn't do anything, pay somebody on Fiverr to write. They're going to have all of these courses they want to sell you, right? So now this happens because they realize that they weren't able to take action and actually make money from any of the things that they. So what do? They get on social media and instead of taking action, they make content, right? So this is the difference between success and failure right here, right? So what is the difference between success and failure at this point? At this point, the difference between success and failure is trust, right? I'm thinking of okay, we're gonna make this a heart, right? So this is how you get trust. Branding, good marketing, some cosigns and testimonials, some proof. Basically, that's the whole concept, right? So right now we living in a trust recession. That's what they call this. We living in a trust recession. And this is why, right? So you have a bunch of people that digested a bunch of this information during COVID, different things like that, and they took the money that they scammed for, and instead of taking action, they made it look good for. They started selling all of this type of stuff, and then they paid somebody to make sure they branded. Different people said good things about them. A lot of them, hey coach, hey this and that. They basically co-signing each other, right? So this is where failure comes in at because a lot of the business owners, they are looking at a lot of these people and they are taking information from these people. And a lot of the information that they are paying these people for, it just takes them back here. So now they are paying some of these people who never took action, who don't have anything that they really accomplished. They all they did was take the information that they had to come over here and start feeding you a bunch of regurgitated information. And all they did was make it look good. So what they did, they rented houses, they rented cars, they bought fake jewelry, they did a bunch of stuff to make this look good so you could trust them. This is what's going on right now. This is everything that caused the trust recession. So now these people, they can't do anything but give you information because that's all they have. All they have is a bunch of information, but no implementation. So you see this in a lot of have very low barriers to entry. Coaching the entry. So you could just regurgitate all of the information you got from courses, books, mentors, coaches, consultants, content. You have people that watch YouTube for 6 months straight and then call themselves coaches, come out, use all the money they scam for, and make social media look great And then they are telling you that you should trust me because I have these receipts, right? That's right there, these receipts, right? Proof means receipts, right? Right? Remember that E and I and P stuff. So I'm hoping that that's the right way, right? Let me look it up. I ain't gonna play with it because y'all get on my head if I play with it like that, right? Okay, Big Jackpot got it right. Now, this is where the trust recession happens, y'all. So you got all of these people on social media. You have all these people all across the internet, and all they did was take a bunch of information. We are living in the age of information and not the age of implementation, right? So all of this, what we need to move into is the age of implementation. And how we do that is by taking action, right? Exclamation mark. Let's make sure it's an exclamation mark there. Take action, y'all. I talk to people, I give them game. Boom, they stuck here. In order to be successful, you have to do this second part. Without this second part, you go into this area where you on social media, you want your business to look like it's winning, you doing all this fake stunting and fronting, you don't make any real progress, you're not really making money. People that act like they have it together, they always hear they doing that. They never really have a business other than selling courses, doing this, doing that. They never have anything concrete to hand you. They never have anything of any real substance to give you because this is everything. What you have to realize is you can buy all of this stuff online. You can buy all of this stuff online. If you need to, just look up PLR. That's all you got to do. PL, private label rights. So what happens is the people come here, they get this, they can't take action, so they start doing this, and then they work on this, and they sell you a bunch of this. And now you stuck back over here, and this is what caused the trust recession. This is what caused the trust recession because you see so many people buy my course, buy my this, buy my that. Stuff like that don't work. We're now in the age of implementation. This is important, right? So when I came home, y'all, in 21, everybody had money. Everything was courses because it was still locked down. Things were still a little crazy. I say, oh man, let me study this, let me study that, boom, boom. But the thing about me, I actually went to school. I knew how to take action. I knew how to actually put stuff into play. So I start putting it into play and I start bumping my head. I'm like, this is not working. A lot of this stuff is not working. And so I had to realize what was going on. I'm like, dang, a lot of these people haven't done anything that they're teaching people to do. The reason that they start teaching stuff is because they could not take action. They realized it wasn't working, but they realized there were a lot of people who didn't want to read and do the necessary discovery to learn something. So, hey, I'm going to make this look good and teach it. If you look now, a lot of those, they calling them scammers. They talking about what they did because they didn't take action themselves. They failed here. And then they said, well, I was dumb enough to buy some of this stuff. I'm gonna just resell it. Private label rights. They have the right to rebrand it and resell it. It's so many tax courses. People not really doing tax courses. If they were really making $100,000 a month, if they were really making $10 million, they wouldn't have the time to make courses. But everybody want to learn taxes now, so they selling courses. That's okay. All you have to do is rebrand it, make it look good. A lot of these women go get their body done, keep their booty all on social media, and they say, look at me, I'm successful. Look at my pink shoes. You should go get you some pink shoes too. And look at what I did. You see my Benz truck, you see this and that, and look at me. You can do this too. And all you have to do is buy my course. This is how the trust recession happened. People did this, a whole lot of it during the recession. They weren't able to do this and actually make something work. This is where they start scamming. This is what they end up learning. Well, if I bought all of this stuff, let me go and create some private label rights, either from a coach consultant, somebody else. Hey, all you have to do is buy this. And then they go right back and sell you this, start making it look good like they actually did something so they can sell more courses, books, coaching, consulting, all of this stuff. This is as simple as it gets, right? So I gave you this background to explain to you why. Okay, so let me get in here. This is why you're failing, right? You are watching these people tell you that everything is so easy. So you go into entrepreneurship thinking it's a green light, right? You go into entrepreneurship thinking you're going to go, right? You won't go. You go into entrepreneurship and you think all I have to do is start because that's what they want you to believe. So now you bought this course, you think all I got to do is start. That's not how entrepreneurship works. Real entrepreneurs understand that you gotta get in the mud. You gotta get in there. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, and you're gonna get back to it. So this is why you are failing if you're failing. This is why you're succeeding if you're succeeding. Winners win, losers lose, right? Losers come to entrepreneurship. This is entrepreneurship, y'all. Come here, and we already know that it's going to be some green, some yellow, some red. Losers come here and they expect everything to be green because somebody sold them a crock of BS. Now you come here and you think all I have to do is start. And what happens is you run into a red light. And instead of you waiting to turn green, you give up. Winners win, losers lose. It's just this simple. You give up before you even can start. You give up at the sign of any type of BS. You give up any type of friction in your process, you give up. That's why you'll continue losing. And what happens is this. So, as I spoke of before, we have barriers of entry, and then you have a bunch of different industries with low barriers of entry, right? So those industries included MLM. This was in the maybe like the 80s and 90s. Everybody said, hey, you should, right? Hey, you should do X, Y, and Z. So you have this multi level marketing group. And what that is you join the group and they just tell you all you have to do is get more people to sign up. So they say something like toilet tissue. Everybody needs toilet tissue. So let's just say toilet tissue. It's a commodity. They sell the toilet tissue. Instead of selling toilet tissue, they want you to recruit people. This is what make it an MLM, right? They want you to recruit people to sell toilet tissue. So now you're not out actually making money from the toilet tissue. Recruit people to sell the toilet tissue. When I came home in 21, it was a big thing with Forex. I actually learned some Forex and I like Forex, but I never joined one of these groups. Well, actually, I joined one and I got my money back because I realized it was one of these groups. I didn't know about the groups, but I got in there. I was like, why do y'all want me to keep adding people to the group? I'm like, it sounds like an MLM. I thought y'all were going to teach me Forex. So these type of things are, they're not illegal. I'm going to tell you the difference between this and a pyramid scheme, right? So I'm going to show you, okay. So this is illegal. It's a scheme. Now the difference between an MLM and a pyramid scheme is one thing. Pyramids, you know what a pyramid look like, right? So basically a pyramid scheme is this. It's different levels and nobody eats but the person up here, right? Nobody eats but so the people down here, they may make it's in the negative, y'all. I'm just being honest with you. It's like 98% of these people don't make a living. So they somewhere down here, they may make $500 a year, maybe. The people on the next level may make $10,000 a year. People over here may make $25,000 a year. I'm just saying, as it go up, boom. The people up here, they make millions, right? So this how a pyramid scheme work. They keep telling you, look, y'all, I got some money. I got some money. I got some money. And what happens is in the pyramid scheme, you may never see this money, right? Because you think I'm a recruit, recruit, recruit. You may have made thousands of dollars, but the person above you gonna get more than you. Person above them gonna get more than that. Person above them will get more than that. So that's one form of the pyramid scheme, and that's kind of how it works, except that there's actually some structure to it, and they not humping over you, right? So in a pyramid scheme, they're gonna take the money, right? So this is how they work in a pyramid scheme. So this is kind of how multi-level marketing work. You're just not gonna get no money. It's gonna go all uphill, right? So in a pyramid scheme, all of the money is shooting up top, right? And what they're telling you is, hey, if you give us $500, we can make it. We'll give you 200 money, and then here, and you think, hey, I'm about to make a whole bunch of money, but no, they take your money and they pay it to the new recruits, right? And if you're a new recruit, you're getting somebody else's money that already made money. So they basically recycling money. This is how the pyramid scheme works, right? So when people see people that made 10 million pyramid scheme here steal money, what they did was they told somebody, hey, if you give me $1,000 today, I'll give you $2,000 tomorrow. And they may have done that once, twice, three times. And what they're doing is whoever joins the scheme, they are using that money to pay the new people. Yep, here you go. So now today, your $1,000 may pay the person who signed up yesterday. And they just keep doing that. So now you think you made a return on your money and you don't mind putting $10,000 in here thinking you're gonna get 20. But in reality, you're only getting money from the person who signed up today. Whatever, that's how the pyramid scheme work, right? So basically, this is an MLM thing. My apologies. This is how MLM work. Is late, y'all. So MLM is the person under here make a couple dollars, the person at the top make the money. The pyramid scheme work, they use your money to pay, making it look like everybody getting paid until the scheme is over and somebody got caught. And this is how Bernie Madoff made off with all the money, right? This is how Bernie Madoff made off with all the money, y'all. So this is a high level pyramid scheme, what he did. And what he did was he was basically telling people, give me 40,000, 50,000. I'm I'm investing the money. I can get you a 25% return. Somebody is looking for $50,000 back at the end of the year, and he does give it back to them. And they're like, wow, my 40 made 50. I can put this 50 in. Maybe I can get 75. And then you look up, you just spent uh, $500,000 and you don't get anything back. Now you calling him, and he's to the point where he's buying yachts and doing a bunch of that. So this is what happens when there's a low barrier to entry and other things that's been a low barrier to entry. You've seen it, credit repair. You don't need a degree, you don't need anything to do credit repair. Low barrier to entry, right? You've seen everybody do credit repair. Same thing ended up with coaching and consulting, no barrier to entry, right? coaching and consulting, no barrier to entry, right? No barrier to entry, coaching and consulting, no barrier to entry. So when there's no barrier to entry, now you got taxes, right? Low barrier to entry. All you need to do is get a P10. You can go in there, get a P10 tomorrow. Now you're a tax preparer, right? Same thing, like no barrier to entry. So you see people do this. We seen this in the 90s. People are a little more hip to the pyramid scheme today. Um, but you end up a victim sometime because you see that this look like easy money. You thinking all I gotta do is take a little class to learn credit repair. And then you look up, it's 1,000 people doing credit repair on your block. You to do credit repair because it's a race to the bottom. You got to lowball somebody because you basically selling the same service, and then it's hard to sell the service because the last person messed over them. Same thing with coaching and consulting. Everybody a coach and a consultant because there's no barrier to entry, and then now it's tax prep. I run a business that I'm pretty much doing a bunch of this, right? So now I actually offer a service. This is how you get out of this realm. So even though I can do credit repair coaching, I do tax prep. I actually offer software as a service, right? That's SaaS, that's high level, anything like that. So as far as my business go, right? I actually offer software. I actually offer tax softwares now because it's so many people doing all of this stuff. If you're a coach and consultant, you need some software. If you do tax prep, you need software. If you do credit repair, you need software. So we have a bunch of stuff that now I offer high level so people can get on there. I've seen people trying to jump on a high level bandwagon, but it's actually a barrier to entry because you need to learn how to use the software. So it's different than just jumping in credit repair. So I'm seeing people in the groups now. Oh man, they said we could just sign up and not you stupid. So now, what are some of the things that have a higher barrier to entry, right? I'm gonna just be a little crazy with it, right? So we got high barrier to entry, high barriers of entry, right? Some of the high barrier to entry things would be like being a doctor, being a lawyer, right? These are things that you have to go to school for. That's the difference. So now you have people that don't want to be doctors, lawyers, electricians, right? You need some type of certificate, right? Right? So you have less of these and more of these because people have watched people say, "Hey, I'm rich. Look at me." Now you the MLM king, the pyramid king, all of this stuff that end up going down to credit repair. Now they doing coaching and consulting. Now they doing, hey, we do tax prep, all of this stuff, and nobody want to do this, right? Nobody want to do this. Most of these people don't even understand business. They're telling you that they're business consultants and they don't even understand business. All they know how to do is the stuff they watched on YouTube. This is what you got to do to get your business credit. You got to go get a virtual mailbox. You got to go do X, Y, and Z, and that's fine. The in the land of the blind, the one eye king, the one eye man is king, right? In the land of the blind, and one eyed man is king. If you want to be a coach and a consultant because you watched a couple YouTube videos or read a credit repair book or read a business credit book, that is fine. But what happens is without doing anything with a high barrier to entry, you are stuck in competition, right? So right here, you have all of this competition because there's no barrier to entry. Everybody doing this because there's no barrier to entry. Now you got to set yourself apart because you cannot compete on low prices. Stop jumping in these businesses unless you have something to differentiate yourself. Just jumping in this business is not going to work for you. You are jumping in a red pool of blood. It's sharks in here. It's sharks in here. What you want to do is go get something that people cannot do, right? That's why I went and got my MBA. I was already doing consulting. I got my MBA factor. I can go sit in rooms. I actually understand financials. I actually understand what's going on. When you watch somebody like Alex Hermosi, who just had a great launch this weekend, Most of what he's done is take NBA course material and he's made it common. He's like broke it down so you can understand what's going on. If you don't understand what's going on in your business, you looking at some of this NBA finance stuff, you're gonna be confused. But for somebody like him to actually understand it, he can break it down for you, draw little pictures and stick men to make you understand what's going on. And that is what made him a great marketer, is actually being able to break that information down. Now, I'm about to be out of here. I just wanted to test it and make sure the board looked good. The other board was super small, and I didn't even like sharing the video. I am a share though because I did something kind of unique. But this is basically what I wanted to talk about. Is the trust recession is because everybody is doing this stuff that has low. Everybody's offering coaching, consulting courses, different stuff like that. Nobody has type of any type of proof other than look what I did. And now a lot of us, we like shiny things, so we seeing people shine a little bit and we buying into the BS. But this is where you want to be at. You want to be somewhere where there's a high barrier to entry, or you need some type of differentiating factor. NBA me, please. Thank y'all for tuning in.